I I never win myself any friends when I say stuff like this, but that's not really the goal of today's stream. I'm a little disappointed in the community. Am I automatically evil? Have dug a little deeper for the facts before raising their pitchforks, but the YouTube viewer community more broadly, I've been disappointed in the way that some individuals have just assumed that I'm some kind of you know, wielder of, you know, the copyright ban hammer without any regard for, you know, fair use.
Recently, noted YouTuber LinusTechTips put out a video called Addressing the Drama. Full disclosure, of all the big-name YouTube channels out there, LinusTechTips may be the only 1 million plus YouTube channel I watch on the regular. His insights, production value, and ability to review, plug, and otherwise inform people about computers, graphics cards, RAM, gaming, etc. is entertaining and it's informative. I'm sure I could have just kept this video entirely positive and grabbed some clips on some of his insights, including his thoughts on solid-state drives and how I upgraded to a GTX 27 recently, a card he didn't recommend, but showed to be a more powerful product than a 1080 nonetheless. But I feel a massive issue with Linus first asking his fans to more or less just trust him.
As of today, there's been more drama around Linus Media Group, LinusTechTips, me personally, whatever entity you want to focus your ire at, running out and copyright striking other content creators.
And the way he went about it is arguably, if not poorly worded, to potentially disgusting.
I don't remember exactly what the post was, but like, yeah, he went on the list. You never saw another acknowledgement from Linus Media Group because that's the way to me things should work. That's the way my engagement with people on the internet works because that's how my human relationships works. So whether it's my household, my friends, my family, my company, these are drama-free zones. And if you can't abide by those rules, if you can't stay drama-free, then I am well within my rights to completely ignore you.
Keep in mind, I hope LinusTechTips and his work continue to be successful, but I do have some complaints. So I'm going to provide some information that Linus doesn't include in his video.
To hopefully address this and lay it to rest once and for all.
This is Cary Holzman, and his video is LinusTechTips trying to shut down my YouTube channel.
Okay, so this person, rather than simply disputing the claims, and don't bother speculating about who it is because there's so many people that are complaining about it at this point, and I'll get into why there's a bunch of people complaining about these content ID flags and why that's happening in a little bit. But there's so many people, you're probably not going to guess the one that I'm talking about, which is the only reason that I'm allowing myself to allude to this.
Use it, I'm violating their copyright, and they filed 7 claims. Now, filing 3 claims is all it takes to get a YouTube channel shut down permanently. So as you can see, I am live right now, and this really sad and pathetic attempt to shut me down is obviously not worked.
TechTips trying to shut down my YouTube channel. Don't expect to find anything about this in LinusTechTips video. This video is nothing. This video is less than nothing. You might think I'm saying this because Linus wasn't direct, and why that does bug me, I understand. That's a personal preference. And I'm not going to present Cary Holzman as a paragon of honesty. In his video, Cary Holzman states that there are over 7 copyright strikes pending against his channel and due to LinusTechTips or the companies or people around him. I reached out to Cary Holzman if he would be willing to provide screenshots of a copyright strike, which were absent from his complaint video. I'll check his Twitter and YouTube channel periodically just to be sure in this regard. I've seen plenty of videos, especially in regards to, say, Just Destiny claims on Lieutenant Cobra, that there doesn't appear to be an issue showing claims providing that you can edit out personal information to show that your channel has been struck. And why I do believe that Cary Holzman has a video that probably has claims on them, considering his channel has 200,000 subscribers. I think he understands the difference between a strike and a claim. YouTube even tells you as much when you get a claim not to worry, as claims do not impact your channel, only your revenue on those videos that they are on. I haven't seen a copyright claim from Cary Holzman yet in this regard, but Linus seems to be willing to concede that there is at least that potential out there.
is it worth the time that I'm investing to find that information? In the case of the particular thing that's going on where people are receiving content ID notifications, not to be confused with a copyright strike. I'll talk about that later. But in the case of people receiving these content ID notifications, have these people actually contacted Linus Media Group about it directly? We actually have a contact us email on our corporate website. We also have a contact us email for LinusTechTips specifically on our YouTube channel. That stuff does get monitored on business days, mind you. Like, this is my long weekend. It's family day here in British Columbia. But I'm dealing with this.
To be fair, Linus, I'm sure you're a very hard worker. Again, love your channel. But I could see why some people would flake out or overreact seeing a major... Would I be obtuse calling your brand a company? Well, let's just call it a brand. A major brand on YouTube that either through error or deliberate action that attempted to divert funds from, let's say, smaller channels. I could see that causing an overreaction. And also, you make it sound as if this happened to more than one person. However, this is not my major issue, but I did feel like chiming in a bit on that.
What else is already posted in the comments on the video? Is there something with a ton of upvotes that sort of answers my question? Am I being manipulated to join a crusade? Is it based on ignorance, or is there some kind of agenda? So those are all the just general questions that I'd really like people to ask themselves whenever they are sort of called to join a cause. With the most important ones, I think, being who are the stakeholders, what do they stand to lose and gain, what is the actual solution, and what could or has already been done about it. And then for myself personally, this has been kind of frustrating, offensive, hurtful. There's a bunch of different words for it, because the questions that I'd like you guys to ask yourselves about me and my company specifically is Linus Media Group some kind of monster that's not still run by real people who give a shit, as opposed to some nameless, faceless corporation? Like, yeah, we're on the bigger side, especially of tech YouTube channels, but that doesn't mean that we've worked hard to get here. It's not like we got there by being, jerks or anything. We haven't, engaged in market manipulation or any other unfair competitive practice. Another question to ask yourself is the behavior that Linus Media Group's being accused of, or Linus personally is being accused of, is that in character?
See, I was really willing to just give Linus a quick nod. Okay, maybe not. Maybe seeing a channel this big saying what you did start to make you sound like you were a bit of a cry bully. Again, this isn't my main sticking point, but if companies like Patreon, just for an example, can start to circle the drain a well enough intentioned company, if there ever was one, I could see why people might not be thrilled, why hearing anyone go, "I'm a nice guy, trust me," is concerning. Here, let's play Jack Chiante, the person in charge of Patreon.
We are doing what's right for you. I promise. It may not always feel like that because of the way we communicate, or mistakes or things that happen, and I understand that, and I see why that creates fear. And as a creator, I know that fear personally. I know it in my heart. I know that it makes people scared. I'm sorry. There's nothing to be scared about. Patreon is doing amazingly well. We are going to be here for decades, and we are going to be building the most amazing things for you. Our mission is to get you paid. That is why we exist. It's our purpose in life. I hope that addresses the underlying sentiment that's going on here. The people using Patreon, just so you know, these are my people.
Give a similar speech. I'm not saying this is the same thing, but I understand why people might be worried, Linus. Whether or not I like the policy, Linus could have given an example and simply withheld the names. But here goes.
Hear from us about this stuff. I feel like I can bring up this one now because it's sort of not relevant anymore. But we had an issue with Total Biscuit at one point, where after having a relationship in the past, we had him on the WAN show at one point, he put me and Luke personally on blast publicly over something that was posted by a user on our forum. And that was instead of contacting either me or Luke directly. And the really bizarre thing about that was that I know 100% that he had my email, since he had no problem asking for and even receiving multiple times tech support from me. And then, like, when I reached out directly, rather than replying on Twitter, because I'm not going to do that, when I reached out directly, like, yo, WTF, can you retract your comments publicly? Because that's really unfair. Like, this is a user comment on our forum. You didn't even contact us and ask us to have it dealt with. He basically said, and I'm paraphrasing here, I didn't feel like pulling up the email because it was really annoying. He basically said, like, I don't get why you expect me to reach out to you directly. We're not friends, and you need to moderate your forum better. Our subreddit is moderated. You're responsible for the content on your forum. And I'm kind of sitting here going, what are you even talking about? Like, at its peak, your subreddit was a small fraction of our forum. We have like a really, really massive shout out to our forum moderators. We have a dedicated community over there, and it's a lot of work what they do to keep the Linus Tech Tips forum running. They're amazing. They do a great job. And you go after my moderators, you tell me they're subpar just because someone posted something that was offensive to you, but not necessarily even against our community guidelines.
Here's the problem. After beating a drum chanting, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, or us, over and over again, Linus uses a man, above all others, a man who has died horribly supporting his family. There was a video, May 28th, 2018. This stuck with me. It was from Jim Sterling called, "Of Course There's a Game with a Mass School Shooting, and it's on Steam." Jim, at the end of his normal video, shared his thoughts on Total Biscuit, and I want to share that here.
So many of you will know by now, John Total Biscuit Bain passed away last week after a long-fought battle with cancer. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know what to say about that. I don't have words. It's been quite a few days, but you never really know what to say. You think that you are prepared for the worst because you hear the worst is coming. But no one is ever really quite adequately prepared to see someone go at that age. Not even mid-30s, but basically, almost identical in age to myself, and it's very fucked up to see that, and I my heart only breaks for Jenna and the rest of the family left behind, which is the bit that's most tragic because Total Biscuit was holding it together and holding the line, which was admirable given the sheer amount of pain he was in. Whatever anyone thinks about Total Biscuit, they can't say he wasn't a stubborn bastard when it came to fighting a lot of stuff, and predominantly the cancer that he was holding off long beyond doctor expectations, which is just amazing. It speaks to the guy's willpower. But fuck.
I've seen somewhere between 2 to 3 videos from Total Biscuit. I've never been a diehard fan, and I don't believe that just because someone has passed away, I don't feel that they're beyond reproach. In fact, Jim kind of acknowledged that Total Biscuit might be a bit of a pain in the ass, or at least used to be. I've heard that rumor around. Based on personality, I don't find that hard to believe. What sits in my craw and boils and festers, Linus, of what no doubt must be a sea of complaints and hiccups and misunderstandings, you used a man who died horribly from cancer, a man who hung on to help and provide for his family, and you said him because John Bain isn't around to kick up any drama. What a piece of shit. Not relevant anymore. That is the lasting memory Linus Tech Tips fans can take away from this video. A caring and compassionate channel that's above the fray. Again, it would have been better if you would have said nothing at all. You could have gave 1 or 2 more examples. Maybe said, well, maybe I flubbed here, and instead you said, I'm fair. I know I'm fair. Here's this story about a dead guy, above all others, because he sure as fuck isn't going to speak up. And yeah, I watched Cary Holzman's video, and I think he's full of shit. I also think, coming away from Linus's video, the person who comes first in Linus's world is Linus. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.